When I was a young teenager, or maybe a preteen, my father, who was mentally ill, prophesied that Yahweh was going to destroy everybody on the earth. But according to Daddy, Yahweh was going to leave him alive so he could teach people how to make cars. I don't know where the people were coming from, since they would all be gone, but somehow Daddy thought this was going to happen. He wasn't supposed to preach to anybody, though. I guess Yahweh had given up and wasn't giving anybody but Daddy a chance. And then I guess he was going to create a whole new batch of people. Why cars were to be so important that the making of them was what would be needed, I don't know. You'd think a medical doctor, maybe, would be a better person to leave alive. Of course, Yahweh never cared to elaborate much on health care. He had his mind on the wickedness of mixing wool and linen in our clothes. Did I believe Daddy's prophecy? No. Should I have? Of course not. Would you have believed him? Well, some of you would have, but most of you wouldn't. Now, imagine you get up one bright sunny spring morning. You go sit on your front porch to enjoy looking at the morning glories as you sip on a cup of coffee and eat a granola bar. Suddenly you look up. You see an old man coming walking into town. He's dragging along with him 7 of some animals and 2 of others, koalas and penguins and whatever. He's got a bag with a couple of cockroaches and bed bugs. And he urges you to follow him down to the center of town. He says he has an announcement, and it's a matter of life and death, so you need to hear it. Naturally, being a curious individual and not particularly wanting to die, you finish off your granola bar and take one last drink of coffee, set down your mug, and follow this parade into town. There the old man gets upon a milk crate and starts his little sermon. The world is about to end, he proclaims. A voice in the sky told me it's going to rain for 40 days and 40 nights. Because, everything is always 40 days and 40 nights. I am collecting animals and bugs and people, the old man says. The water will cover the whole earth. There won't be a dry spot on the ground. Follow me to my home if you want to be saved. Would you believe this guy? If you wouldn't have believed my daddy, why would you believe this old man? How was he different from Daddy? Well, the truth is, most of you wouldn't have believed this old man either. Nobody did. For some reason, you believe this man now, without any proof at all. But you wouldn't have had you heard him for yourself. Half the people today won't even believe scientists when they tell us about a pandemic or global warming. Yet the same people think those living in Noah's day were evil and deserve to drown for not believing an old man talking crazy talk about a global flood. For argument's sake, let's assume this flood story is true. Yahweh knew that he was sending Noah all over the world for nothing, because Yahweh knew that reasonable people don't believe some old man spouting nonsense. The whole exercise to convince people to repent was futile. Now, every person Yahweh created can be drawn to Yahweh. Otherwise, it would be his fault if people didn't come to him. And Yahweh, being all-knowing, understands exactly what it would take to draw each individual to himself. And he knew for a fact that sending an old man around the world telling fantastic stories would do absolutely nothing to convince anybody of anything. Noah's boat wouldn't hold him anyway. Let's say 100,000 people actually believed Noah. How would they fit on the boat? Yahweh's instructions didn't even fit the measurements to be able to hold everybody, or really very many people at all. Was the boat going to expand like the universe if a lot of people had believed? What was Yahweh's plan? Well, he had none because, as I said, he sent Noah around the world for nothing. His time would have been better spent working on the boat. Of course, the truth is we don't even know for sure that anyone else living at the time of Noah was warned or had any chance at all of getting onto the ark. Christians like to say Noah preached to everybody, but the Old Testament doesn't say others were given an opportunity to repent. 2 Peter 2:5 says Noah was a preacher of righteousness, and 1 Peter 3:20 states that Yahweh was long-suffering while the ark was being prepared. But making those passages mean that Noah went around the whole inhabited world warning people about the flood is a stretch. So it's possible Yahweh didn't even give people time to repent or warn them of the impending doom. However, if he really wanted to save anybody besides Noah and his family, Yahweh should have talked to everybody from the clouds. It would have been just as easy as talking to Noah, and easier than sending Noah around the world as he was trying to build an ark, in which case Noah had to be in two places at one time. Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. But just as in my daddy's prophecy, Yahweh never planned to save anybody else. Noah's preaching, if it even happened, was just a waste of Noah's life. Yahweh tends to use the very worst means of communication imaginable. He knows what people need, and gives them what he knows won't work for them. As we know, my daddy's prophecy didn't come true. And that's the only way we can determine whether a prophet is from Yahweh. At least that's what Yahweh says. So you never know if you're hearing a true prophet until his prophecy comes true. So the only way people would have or could have known that Noah's prophecy was true is after the rains came down and the floods came up. By then, of course, it was too late. Yahweh had already shut the door to the boat. So the people had no way to know whether Noah was a true prophet, telling the truth, until it didn't matter any longer. And Yahweh knew that. That, dear friends, is your God of love. He drowned babies, pregnant women, puppies, kittens, everybody and everything but one old man and his family. And there is no way anybody else could have escaped. Worship him if you can. Or perhaps better, realize that men lie. And men can also be deluded. We all can be deceived into believing lies. I truly believe that my daddy thought a God spoke to him. His Christianity was important to him. He valued all creatures and wouldn't even kill a mouse. Daddy believed a God was guiding him. He thought a God was going to keep him alive to build cars. You believe a God was guiding Noah. You think a God left Noah alive to build, boats and houses? I don't know. Daddy had mental problems. And maybe you do too. I don't know. There's no shame in it if you do. A psychiatrist once told me that there's a line of sanity. And we're all just on that line at some point. Some of us up here, some of us down here, some of us in the middle, wherever. But I hope you can see that if you wouldn't have believed my daddy, then you probably shouldn't believe the story of Noah either. You know, there's no proof of either one. Thanks for watching. Bye.